me see. Where did I go? Right here, chat. All right, great. I'm happy to see that. So sharing the screen now. Okay, so let's start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. Oh Lord, open the doors of wisdom and mercy and shower your blessing upon us. Ameen. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. So today we're continuing on with the 26th flash, Treatise for the Elderly on page 322. And you can follow the link or you can follow what's up on the screen. So Ryan and Mariam, whenever you're ready, please begin.
Okay. The fourth level of the luminous verse for us God suffices. A time I was being shaken by old age, exile, illness, and defeat coincided with a period of heedlessness. I was grievously anxious that my being, to which I was intensely attached and by which I was captive, indeed all creatures, were departing for non-existence. Then again, I had recourse to the verse. It told me, note my meaning carefully and look through the telescope of belief.
So I looked and with the eye of belief and saw that like all believers, my miniscule being was the mirror of a limitless being, and through infinite expansion, the means of gaining innumerable existences, and was a word of wisdom, producing the fruits of numerous permanent existences far more valuable than itself. I knew with certainty and the degree of knowledge that to live for an instant in this respect was as valuable as an external existence. For I understood through the consciousness of belief that this being of mine was the work of art, artefact, and manifestation of the necessarily existent one. So being saved from the anxiety of loneliness and from innumerable separations and their pains, I formed relations and bonds of brotherhood with beings to the number of divine acts and names connected with beings, and especially living beings, and I knew that there was a permanent union with all the beings I love, and only a temporary separation. And so, through belief and the relations of belief, like all beings, my being gained the lights of innumerable existences untouched by separation. Even if it departed, they would remain behind and it would be happy as though it had remained itself.
In short, death is not separation, it is union. It is a change of abode. It is the producing of an eternal fruit.
Thank you for that lovely and endearing reading by the younger people of our group here. So I guess to begin, maybe just to warm us up, I can start with my takeaway and then, or perhaps start with if anyone, the younger people who read or anyone else has any points that what they think this is about, we can hear from them, and then I can take it from there. If Mariam or Ryan have anything to say, what do you think this is about? I don't know if you understood much. It was a little confusing to me, but if you want to share anything, this would be a good time, and also open to Mariam from Ohio as well. Please go ahead, Mariam.
So I just wanted to talk a bit about the telescope of belief, not like the whole entire thing, but just like a small part about it, because I couldn't take away much of the rest. But the thing when they said telescope of belief, I don't know if it's 100% true, but this is what I thought they meant by that. So when you look outside, some people just say nature was created or nature is just there. They don't think more into it. But I think that when you look through the telescope of belief, then you look a bit more deeper and you understand that your creator is the one who made that. And I call the one where you don't add your creator into it. You just say, oh, it was made somehow. That one, I call that one black and white. And the one when you put more into it and talk more about it, like you add on to it a bit more, like your creator, say you see a bird or a nest, you would say, my creator made this with care. That one I think is the colorful version of life.
I think actually your question comment was almost, I think, a summary of what I believe this fourth level of the luminous verse, for us God suffices, is talking about. And to add on to what you've said, Mariam, I think when I, at least as far as my initial takeaways from these two paragraphs, is it seems that the author, as he has been throughout our Saturday discussions, starting with the state of like an unpreferable state of being, whether this is old age, illness, exile, and then he goes through this journey. And in the beginning, it seems that he says he was grievously anxious that his being, to which he's attached to his being, was that everything was departing, that all creatures were departing for non-existence. And then only through looking carefully, as Mariam said, through the telescope of belief, then there's this kind of transformation or remedy to the wound that the author here is discussing. So thank you for highlighting that. I think, so to, I guess, some more of my initial takeaways, there's this almost journey that the author is going through here. And through the verse, for us God suffices, I think this telescope of the telescope of belief is almost like, he also says the eye of belief in the beginning of the first paragraph. So I looked with the eye of belief and saw that, like all believers, my minuscule being was the mirror of limitless of a limitless being. So he goes through this shift, or this in looking at himself, starting with himself. I guess first being aware of I'm going to call it suffering, but the anxiety of things departing to non-existence. And then starting through the guidance of the verse, starting with his being, which he says is miniscule. So we could talk about in what respects, then that his being a means through which of gaining innumerable existences, expansion, of a means of producing the fruits of numerous permanent existences, far more valuable than itself. And then he further goes on to talking about the certainty at the degree of knowledge, which, if I recall correctly, was at the beginning of these levels of the luminous verse, for us God suffices, where we had briefly touched upon that as well. And so my initial main takeaway would be this: my being a means through which I am given the news, or I am able to see through the telescope of belief, the necessarily existent one. and this or concluding and finding it as a remedy to my to this anxiety of separation, of eternal separation, would be my initial takeaways. Go ahead, Fasim.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. So in the first paragraph, I have a question on in the middle of the paragraph when he says, I was grievously anxious that my being, to which I was intensely attached and by which I was captivated. So that part of the being intensely attached. I mean, if we can discuss maybe like the little ones can chip in also into what is meant by this, being. How can I be intensely attached to my own self? What does that mean? Just to put that in.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. But before I give the microphone over to Brother Ali, I wanted to ask our younger participants here if they would like to take a stab at answering Fossam's question about what does it mean for my being, for me, to be intensely attached to myself, and that my being to which I was, to being intensely attached and captivated by myself. I guess, awesome if you want to correct my question, but that's what I understood. If the younger people here would like to speak, Mariam, and I'll give you guys a moment to raise your hands if you'd like to. Go ahead, Mariam.
Maybe not understanding that you're that everything that you have and you come from your creator, and so you don't want to let it go, maybe.
Oh, thank you. I think very interesting point that I don't want to let that you said, coming from my creator and not wanting to let myself go, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for your answer. Anybody else? And if not, just really quickly, or an existing hand up there. Okay, so that was an existing hand. Brother Ali, please go ahead. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, very interesting question. We are intensely attached to our existence. Also, it is directly related to Maryam Özdemir said, look through the telescope of belief. I think we are here to train ourselves to understand how we should analyze the creation, the things themselves. When we look at the world, without taking any religious, cultural background, don't take that first, what you heard from your environment. Just be yourself and look at the universe, look at yourself. You find that you are really attached to your existence. You don't want to die. You don't want to get very old. Let me speak on about myself. I don't want to be ill. I don't want to die. I don't want to disappear from existence. I don't want to lose my body functioning perfectly. I don't want to be disappointed in this world. That's how it is. Telescope is it's a really interesting word. Telescope first looks at the universe, looks at the things themselves. But when I look at anything in this world, whether I can look at the stars, I can look at, I don't know, anything, a piece of rock or a stone, maybe I look at the sea, maybe I look at the moon and the sun and the clouds up there, on the animals, trees, but they are all going. And I look at myself through this telescope, I am going as well. And I cannot really sustain my life. I cannot really sustain my existence. I cannot really protect myself from the things that I don't like to be subject to. For example, nowadays, you see people are talking about a virus. I've never seen them, but they say, no, you cannot see, it is so small. All right. This word, I look at them, can they, a virus, for example, can it itself exist by itself? Can this virus have the qualities of killing people, producing and eating the other elements in my body by itself? Can it happen by itself? So the telescope looks at the virus, looks at the mountain, looks at the sea, the sun, the moon, and the animals, the plants around me, myself. So strange. I don't want to lose them, but they are going. What is the mystery in it? What is the wisdom in their existence? I look at them, they cannot really have all the qualities by themselves, accidentally, by themselves. For example, can you imagine a virus can eat a man down and kill him? Which is impossible. It looks very strange. It is impossible that it can make itself. And then it can have these qualities by itself, from itself. And where did they come from? Oh, the question is, where did I come from? Even bigger question is, where did the universe come from? Everything come from. Do they exist by themselves? The telescope goes beyond the universe. Beyond the universe. The telescope says, telescope asks, what is, or who created you? How you came into existence? Telescope says, first telescope looks at me and see that I cannot come into existence by myself. And then how about the other natural things? Can they come by themselves into existence? And then telescope goes beyond the universe. And who or what is the source of existence of the universe? And then we can only after this journey of thinking, we can talk about the telescope of belief. It means, what is the telescope of belief? No, this universe and everything in it cannot come and happen as they are, come into existence and happen to be as they are, cannot have all these qualities by themselves. There must be something who or which gave existence to this world. And this thing must be the source of existence of everything, every quality, every attributes of the things. whatever they are, the plants are growing, animals are moving around, they can see, they can hear, they can feel, they can try to escape from death. All these qualities cannot come from matter itself. So the telescope of belief says there must be a creator who gave existence to this world. So what is this source of existence? What is the thing which gave existence to this universe? It must be the one who created my feelings. It must be the one who created me and my feelings as well. So my feelings say, I don't want to die. Oh, I am created with the need not to die, not to lose my abilities. I am created with all these needs. So I don't want to lose my existence. I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to fall into non-existence. But within the universe, I am bound to die. But if I turn the telescope to the one which is the creator of the universe, which is the creator of my human feelings, and also which is specifically the creator of my feeling not to die. Not to die. Ah, that is interesting. This creator gave me the feeling not to die. So the answer for my need not to die, can be from this creator. I start thinking now, can the creator really keep me in existence? Look at the universe. How he could give existence to this universe must be able to keep me in existence as well. He created me from the beginning. Oh, it is interesting. He is the one who created me from the beginning with the desire not to die, not to disappear, not to fall into non-existence. That is why I love existence. But this love can be satisfied not by the universe, but by the creator of the universe. Then the creator of the universe gives me the message through his messenger. The messenger says, this is the news from your creator. What is the news? The creator says he is enough. He suffices all human needs. I say, yeah, there must be. He must be. He must be. Why? Because he gave me this feeling. He gave me, he wanted me, by giving this feeling to me, he wanted to ask, he wanted me to ask him not to go into non-existence and ask him to give me eternal existence. Because I don't want to go and disappear from existence. This feeling is given to me by my creator. So the telescope, it must be used correctly. If I start using the telescope and saying that creator promises me that he will keep me in existence, and my friends, I say, how do you know? Then I have no answer. I say, oh, well, in our religion, we believe like this. No one will accept this understanding, this approach. We have to use right approach so that I cannot reject it, my friends cannot reject it. I must be comfortable with my conclusion. Yes, I have this feeling, and this feeling wants not to fall into non-existence, and this feeling cannot be cannot be created by anything from this universe. So it must be from the creator of the whole universe. So the creator of the whole universe must answer this this feeling, who created me within me, who created within me. So this feeling is a promise from my creator that he, the creator, is going to answer to this question, to this expectation, because he is the creator of this question. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your reflections. So I guess what I understood from what you're saying in a nutshell would be the fact that I don't want or the fact that I am subject to transience and impermanence, and yet I don't want to experience eternal separation, is an indication that I want and I need eternal permanence, and that I need to utilize this, what the text refers to as the telescope of belief, correctly, to see the source of the qualities within my being, along with my feelings, and utilize them together. Although one question or one interesting thing that I was thinking about right now as I was listening to you was, like when I think about the author and then him saying, like he was grievously anxious or something, at the departing for non-existence. In the back of my mind I was thinking, I don't think it's that the author thinks that there is no creator to the universe, but rather this perhaps bridging the gap between this conclusion, along with utilizing or incorporating my feelings into it all together, all at once, not separating it, like concluding the necessary existence of the source of existence by itself, as we've been discussing earlier in our other discussions, is insufficient, because I need to be able to connect it to my needs, and see the relationship, or the relationship between it, the relevance. We do have a comment here, and there was a hand up before as well, so I'm just going to give priority to Mariam if she would like to read her comment and perhaps share anything else on her mind.
I already shared this comment out. I just put it in the chat after I had shared it, just to like clarify, just in case.
Yeah, would you like to read it if possible, just so we can hear your voice again?
Okay. My comment says, because you don't understand that everything, including your body, comes from your creator, you don't want to let it go.
If the fact that I don't want to let it go is because I'm tied to it, and I think that I'm the one who has to sustain it, and I don't see it as coming from an infinite source. So it's not really my duty or my responsibility to sustain it, but that also doesn't mean that I out. There isn't much I can do about it, but you can tell me if it's terrible, and then maybe someone else can take over moderation. Hopefully it's not cutting out right now. But yeah, I have to be firm in my own, thank you for that, Mariam, in my own conclusion that the source is a permanent one, and that my needs can not only be met, but they are being met. I do see a hand up from A for Iha, so please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Assalamu alaikum. So I got excited when you guys were making the comments about this first paragraph. Really, just to sum up what I took away from what you all shared, the part that Hamim highlighted with how the author is sharing his reflection about, I was grievously anxious that my being, to which I was intensely attached and by which I was captivated, indeed all creatures were departing for non-existence, right? So, you know, it really speaks to the human journey or the spirit itself, because we enjoy existence. There's no denying in it. And so really anything that we experience, be it like a good moment you're having with creatures around you, things you enjoy, you just want to freeze time, like really. I mean, I don't know, right? When we're really like in the moment, we're having fun, day off, sunny day. I mean, you just want to freeze time. And so this is how we are. But at the end of the day, we all also know the reality of things, that it's like fleeting water, right? You cannot hold on to running water. And so any experiences that we really come across, it's really a matter of reading our feelings, right? So yes, human beings are made in a way where we enjoy existence, and at the same time, through that, we get this also realization that we don't want to lose any of this thing that we're enjoying. So there's this need. That's how we are made in the manufacturing setting, that we have this need of wanting everything to be eternal, everything to be satisfied eternally. And obviously nothing of this universe, created things, being, nothing has the ability to do so. Neither I myself, I don't. And the author is really resonating with the human being, that even the creatures, you know, we don't have any of this ability to give eternal existence to any of our needs and wants. And yet here we are, we have this need. And it's really, they emerge, or like when we read creation carefully, like creation really is first of all reading yourself, our human feelings, where we desire everything to be perfect in our existence. Nobody wants to get ill. Nobody wants any of their loved ones also to get ill as well. Nobody wants to age. Not at all, right? Nobody wants to lose any of their abilities to see, hear, and taste. But then, but this in itself, like reading this feeling of, you know, I'm made in this way where I don't want to lose anything, it really makes me realize that, I don't know if somebody has unmuted themselves, you can speak later. But so, yeah, so these needs make me realize that I want to experience everything in eternal form. So that's, yeah, what I wanted to share. So like basically every experience is an opportunity for me to realize my need. And I use this need to connect it to the one that is making me in a needy situation. And so that becomes a beautiful experience. And not if I'm reading the feelings, because through this, I get to know who am I and who the source of my existence is, and I belong to it. So just like a phone has a maker, like an engineer, right? Similarly, I myself, I must have a source of existence who knows the ins and out of my workings, and so I belong to it. And that's all I wanted to share. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Afariha, for sharing your reflections. And not adding anything new at this point. But yeah, as you said, becoming aware really first step in all of this. And I think also in becoming aware of my needs, I need to recognize what my need really is as well, right? Like I am in need of oxygen, I'm in need of water, I'm in need of, companionship, I'm in need of, a lot of things, endless things. But what am I essentially in need of as far as my human qualities or my human side goes or extends, right? I want a meaningful existence. That's why I think, the thought of even eternal separation would then render my existence empty of any meaning. And that's that my being says no to. So I know Mariam and Rayan have their hand up, so we're going to go in the order that they were up. Mariam from Ohio, please go ahead, and then Mariam and Rayan, please go ahead.
Mariam and Rian can go first if they want.
Thank you very much for offering your spot. Please go ahead, Mariam and Rayan.
Thank you, Miriam. That's very nice. If you want, you could go first, but
Okay, by virtue of being a moderator, Mariam and Rayan, please go ahead first. Thank you.
okay, thank you. So I just wanted to go back to what my aunt said, like my aunt Fariha said. So she said that like the phone has a maker, like an inventor, an engineer. So we have so like you know how a phone has like the battery, like the sources inside, like the battery, the SIM card, like we're very much related because like a phone is like an invention or like like a discovery, and we it wouldn't make us an invention because we are created. We're just we're like, I'm not saying that we're a discovery or an invention, but like we're a creation. Like the battery of the phone is like our heart, and like we're very much similar to like what we are. So I just wanted to say that because that's like my observation and what I think.
So going on to what Rand said about the phone, how we're the phone. So basically the phone, it's powered up by something to make it like, so like you use it and you're controlling it. So like the creator's controlling us, well, not controlling us, he's seeing where our fate goes to.
Thank you. Those were lovely comments. So I think if I were to, this is what I understood, or maybe just to make an extension of the phone metaphor, if I think of myself as a phone, I have all these parts that you listed, and I can't really get angry with myself or for if I have a low battery, for example. If I find that my battery is low, then I have to follow the order of the universe. And in doing so, I have to become aware of the one who made me as a phone and become of the proper charger or device pieces, whatever that is required so that I can recharge and connect myself to my source or my network so that I can utilize and be properly used as a phone. But I love that comment. Thank you for sharing. So at this time, Mariam from Ohio, please go ahead.
So I don't know if mine really goes with the thing that we were talking about, but I just sort of put this together while other people were talking. But like, I think the reason why we're afraid of death is because we don't know what's going to happen after death. And I think that's what makes man most scared. When they don't know what's going to happen to them, that's when they start to get afraid. And so I think that's really what fear is, not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I find within myself a need to feel secure that once I undergo this thing called death, as I experience it on a micro level day to day, as you know, physically I'm changing, my state of being is not the same as yesterday, the things around me are changing. I look outside and you know there were flowers on the trees, but now it looks like they're turning green slowly. So everything is in a state of change. Everything is um, leaving in a way. But what I need to, for myself at least, if I can feel secure in the fact that it's very interesting because like this reminded me, Mariam, thank you for sharing your point. This idea of finding the absolute within the limited or within the um, transient is very intriguing to me. And you know, using myself and not just myself, but like, I mean that's what I only have access to anyway. But starting and using myself and what is immediately available to me around the universe to come within this limited creation to come to the conclusion of an absolute being, while at the same time within my limited being finding the existence of these feelings that stretch to eternity. So being afraid of death then for me becomes not knowing what's going to happen after death, meaning that not being sure that or feeling that I'm going to be eternally separated from everything and that my life and my being is all for nothing. It just goes into a black hole, if you will. Um, so that would be my response slash comment. Thank you for sharing. Um, I just want to take a pause here to see if anyone has any comments or responses to any of the comments that have been made. And if not, then we can continue on with this. So I guess to move on to the second paragraph. Oh, there's a hand. Mariam, please go ahead.
Okay. Before we move on to the second paragraph, is it all right if I share my notes for the fourth level?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Okay. So my notes for the fourth level, my first note was look through the telescope of belief. That was like what we talked about mostly throughout the class, except that was just the plain wording of it. Death is not separation. If you don't understand that your creator gives your body to you, you don't want to leave it. People might be afraid of dying because no one knows what happens after you die. Your creator keeps you in existence. Your creator gave you a love for the universe. The love can be satisfied by not the universe, but the creator of that universe who gave you that love. Or, in other words, whoever gave you a want or need has to be able to satisfy that need. Not knowing what is going to happen is what causes fear. And that was my last note for the fourth level.
Thank you for your beautiful notes. I see there are applauses in the chat box, more than one. So yeah, when I said next paragraph, I was also alluding to the second paragraph in the fourth level of the Luminous verse. So I'm not ready to move on to the next level yet personally. That's okay though. I think you can still give us another summary at the end if you have additional notes. I would love to hear them. So again, anyone can feel free to make a comment about anything that attracted their attention. I'm just going to perhaps read the first sentence of the second paragraph of the fourth level. So it says, so I looked with the eye of belief and saw that like all believers, my minuscule being was the mirror of a limitless being. So this, I guess, ties into like the minuscule being, when I look at my body, it's transient, I'm going to die. Nothing is permanent. If you take my value at face value, then I'm not really worth much. Whereas it's saying that my being is a mirror to a limitless being. This kind of play between seeing that which is limitless within that which is limited in the mirror of it, as if reflecting it. And through infinite expansion, this is also interesting. And through infinite expansion and means of gaining innumerable experiences, and was a word of wisdom producing the fruits of numerous permanent existences far more valuable than itself. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's saying the minuscule being, or my minuscule being, let's see, is a mirror to a limitless being, a means of gaining innumerable existences. What does this mean? I mean, we've been discussing this, but just to delve a little bit deeper, what does it mean for me to gain innumerable existences through the mirror of my own being? And my being, my existence being a word of wisdom producing the fruits of numerous permanent existences far more valuable than itself. Very interesting. So very poetic actually, and there's a lot of I think eloquence in the rawness of the way the author expresses himself here. But would anyone like to share their thoughts on this play between the mirror, my minuscule being, and then this limitless being, this infinite expansion, and this gaining of innumerable existences? Fariha, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, my next door neighbor just brought up the whole part about innumerable existences. And I was thinking, yeah, that's interesting. Innumerable existences in terms of what? So I observe several stages of human existence here, from the womb of a mother to toddler stage, young adolescent, teenagers, adulthood, and then middle age, and then, we can expand it out, right? So innumerable existences, so that's something I observe here. And so it's interesting how you were right, the way the author uses the wordings, it's impeccable actually, because he's starting with the eye of belief. So going back to that telescope analogy. So, let's look into binoculars. I'm sure a lot of us have binoculars. We like to just gaze at the birds or anything, right? So you're just looking around, you just see something maybe flying, right? So that's very apparent. We just observe something. But then if we focus in, zoom in a little bit more, then we catch the reality, oh, this is not an eagle, this is actually a sparrow, right? So you can just kind of get the details of it. And so as far as existence is concerned, so whatever I look into, and then when I question the source of existence of anything, and when I'm able to conclude that the bird itself, in and of itself, is not the cause of existence of its flying ability, or just as an example, it must have a creator that is bringing it into existence right here and now, and at the same time it's bringing my power of sight into existence as well, and at the same time it's bringing this relationship that I have with the bird, because I enjoy watching flying birds. So there's like this mutual relationship, so everything is coming into existence. So now so going from binoculars to really zooming in into the details of things, where I question the source of existence of anything. And when I'm able to conclude that the particles of the birds do not have the ability to bring the bird into existence, right? Neither the eyeball in my material side has the ability to bring anything to existence. It's just a tool, a vehicle for me to see things. And so now with the eye of belief, and I'm able to grasp the reality, or I'm able to see the mirror clearly, right? And so this innumerable existences, I mean, I think we can still unpack some more, but it's, I mean, I experience different stages of existence here. And so definitely if I conclude that.
Yeah, I said every moment is a stage of existence that we experience.
Good, yeah. So every moment is a stage of existence that we experience. That's true.
So how is that happening? How can we explain each stage? As you mentioned, from the womb to this current stage and going on further on. So if I understand, if looking through the eye of belief, looking through the questioning, through the, investigative, wondering at how these different existences I'm going through, and how that, looking at myself like one individual minuscule being, as he says, but being a mirror to something that is infinite, limitless being. Right.
That's, yeah.
So that relationship actually is what's binding and tying. So all those infinite existences are like our reflections of that mirror. But you were continuing.
No, that was
jumped
good.
in.
Thank you. It's good to get into the detail side of things. Like every moment, even the existence is we're experiencing several forms of existence, although we may not realize it, but really it's something interesting to ponder over. So from here, when I conclude that the source of existence of all the existences that I'm experiencing here must be a limitless being, in terms of since I experience change, then there must be an agent of change. And this one that I conclude to be the agent of change must be an absolute one, or a limitless being by definition, because everything here is dependent to be given existence, and everything is sustained. So the one that is sustaining the whole cosmos must not be in need to be sustained. I mean, that's what I conclude. I can conclude easily. So yeah, thank you. That's what I wanted to share on my end. Do you want to add anything? Okay.
Thank you. I was thinking about how, as I was listening to you guys, as I experienced the separation or the leaving of something. So, for example, with, as I grow up from a baby to my state now and on, in the the leaving of one state of being, of existence, is immediately it is replaced by another. So there is no like moment of like there's no gap in between. And that's where I guess the infiniteness within the limited being comes, or the quality. That's where I see it. So if I see that everything is transient, everything is constantly leaving, but I also see that within their constantly leaving, it's constantly replaced by something else. In the separation is permanence of things just being replaced constantly. There's constants there. As the saying goes, the only constant is change or whatever. But there's a constance there. There's something that is constant, and it's I'm never, as from my birth until now, it's like seamlessly it's a seamless transition. There's never a gap, a moment of non-existence or a moment of stagnancy. And so within the transitions within, and by transitions I mean like from one change to one moment, from point A to point B, within that change, within that transition is that which is limitless, because it's always constantly happening, like almost like a spiral in a way. So that was very interesting to think about. Thank you. Anybody else have any other thoughts they'd like to share on this infinite expansion? So I'm just going to keep an eye out for hands. Yes, Fariha, please go ahead.
Actually, I have a question now. Yeah, okay, so all right, that makes sense in terms of innumerable existences, but what can the author possibly mean by saying that, okay, Hamim is highlighting, all right, so everybody eyes up on the screens, the means of gaining innumerable existences. So my miniscule being was the mirror of a limitless being, and through infinite expansion, the means of gaining innumerable existences, and was a word of wisdom producing the fruits of numerous permanent existences. Numerous permanent existences. It's interesting that he's making a conclusion about numerous permanent existences, because mostly when I think about it, what I experience is right now, my existence right now, and we see several stages of any created thing. And then created beings are subject to departing, what we refer to as graduation from this universe. And so from there on, I don't know, but because since I experience transience here, but I'm in need of something permanent, so I conclude that there must be definitely a permanent abode, not of the nature of this universe. And so the author making use of like the experience, whatever he's experiencing, as being a word of wisdom, maybe something like a meaning that I get when I read my human feelings, desiring eternal happiness, eternal satisfaction, eternal pleasure in everything, eternal existence, then that word of wisdom, as in just me recognizing or realizing the subtle meaning about what my existence point to, that just produces fruits of permanent existences. So yeah, just wondering what's everyone's take on this whole permanent existences business, or what's your understanding?
Thank you, Fariha. That was a great question. So yes, Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Actually, everything has been said so far explains the case. I was happy with it, but I wanted to give a simple example so that it will be easy for me to register in my mind and remember it. Now, the people are studying, for example, this particle physics. It's a subject. They study atom, just a simple atom. You cannot see it. They cannot see it either. Those people who study the atom, they cannot see it. But they see the effect of it. They see that such a being exists so small, although they cannot see it, but definitely they are sure it exists because there is an effect. And also study, study, study. How many volumes of books have been written about atom by the particle physicists? Volumes of them. Huge laboratories everywhere. But how many huge laboratories? You cannot imagine how big laboratories they are working in order to find out which kind of qualities uh, this being has. Or that's so small, doesn't matter, the minuscule body, but huge quantities, volumes of books, of content of the books are not enough to tell the qualities of those small creature being. Of course, we understand from the mystery of this kind of creation, that this kind of existence, that numerous qualities are mentioned, are to be extracted from a simple being, let alone a human being. A human being is, compared to atom, is impossible huge. Then if you compare the atom and the human being, as if comparing one tree to the whole universe, something like that. So there are there are numerous existences in it. I'm not touching upon the permanent yet. Now, numerous existences, because there is wisdom in their existence, in the existence of everything. What is the wisdom? It's so perfectly arranged, purposefully arranged, and also beautifully created. They are given existence with endless qualities manifested in them. That is really interesting. And how about the nature of these qualities? The qualities manifested in them reveal that, now atom is too small for me to think about it, it was just an example. One atom is studied, volumes of books and articles of the great scholars have been published about it. Oh, that is a lot. But try to understand the permanent existences. Now, when I see, for example, anything in this world, maybe an animal, squirrel, for example, I've seen a squirrel here. I understand that in order to be able to create this squirrel, one, the creator of the squirrel, must be able to know the universe, to know the world, to know the plants, to know the life conditions, to know the sun and everything in the universe, the whole order of the universe, so that he will knowingly give existence just the body of the squirrel in a perfectly matching position. Where is this knowledge? I cannot see any knowledge in matter, in the matter itself. Where is it coming from? So I understand that the qualities of every creation, every creature, every being cannot be found within the universe. So there must be not within the universe, but within the creator of the universe, who has all these qualities. So the creator of the universe cannot be describable with the qualities of this universe. It means we have to say it is infinite. It is not like the universe at all. So this shows that these qualities are coming from a being who has absolute qualities, infinite qualities. And infinite is not transient, cannot be transient. It must be permanent. It means infinite in its existence must be self-existing, shouldn't be dependent. It must be self-existing, self-sustaining, so cannot be transient, must be permanent. We understand that the universe is continuously, although this point was perfectly explained by our friends here, the thing here, everything is continuously changing, but their existence is constant. It is not changing. It means the qualities manifested in them are not changing. It means they are permanent. So the following sentences in the screen, actually, we can see that, for example, I knew with certainty at the degree of knowledge that after thinking in this way, to live for an instant, for anything in this respect, it means when they exist in this world, for example, for a second, when you examine that thing, you understand that the one who created it must be infinite, must be self-existing, must be permanent. It must have all the qualities. When you study that thing, which exists only for 1 second, there are innumerable qualities manifested in it. Knowledge, wisdom, adjustment, forming, making it useful, purposefully arrangement, balance, everything. So it says, certainly at the degree of knowledge, that to live for an instant in this respect was as valuable as eternal existence. So we understand that this universe is so precious. Thank you very much.
For sharing your thoughts, Brother Ali. Yeah, I don't really have much to add to that. I guess our friend who had asked the question also question or questions, but I think, do you have a follow up to that, or are you satisfied for now to our friend who had asked the question? Okay, we got a check mark, so that's good. Yeah, I think one thing that came to my mind as I was listening, again, not as an addition, but just something that came to my mind was how, I guess, like in my reflection, using my own being and the existence of my being and the beings around me, again, going back to what was shared earlier about like recognizing my needs, really, really, you know, the essence of what it is that I need. And you know, when I say God suffices, when the verse says, "For us, God suffices," like I look at myself and I say, "Do I want permanence?" And always the answer seems to be yes through my need for meaningfulness. Because otherwise, like all of these, like happiness or meaning and a meaningful existence, always are tied to permanence. So when the verse says, "For us, God suffices," when I conclude for myself the source of my existence, who's bringing me into existence right now, is it absolute? I'm saying that there is the permanence suffices for me, the absolutely permanent one, the necessarily existent one. So in that case, I know our friend Mariam had a question or a comment that she wanted to share. So this is a good time if you would like to share your thoughts.
I have two things. One is on topic, one is off topic. I'll share the on topic one first, and then if no one else has anything left to say, then I'll share the off topic one. So these were my notes, like added on. I'm trying to find where I left off. Okay. Okay, so my not my first note, but the note starting up after where I left off, like the notes that I added. That first note: nothing is the cause of its own existence. Nothing is made or done on accident. Everything is planned. There is never a moment of non-existence. This signifies perfection. Then I didn't stop there. I went a bit further into some other topics that we went over. So there is never a moment of non-existency. This signifies perfection. Us humans can never be perfect. This shows that the creator of this universe cannot be human. If things inside you are not changing, you are permanent.
Thank you for sharing your notes as always. That last note, could I hear that one again? I'm sorry. I think I may have I missed it.
Sure. I got this note from what I just said. If things inside you are not changing, you are permanent.
That's an interesting point. I think in one respect I'm always changing, but the feeling of wanting permanence, or the feeling of wanting happiness, and the feeling of wanting a meaningful existence is always unchanging. That's what I understand from that. Thank you. I know you had an so I see Fariha's hand is up. So maybe what we can do is, if Fariha's comment is on topic, we'll take that one first. And she says yes. So I'm guessing that's yes, it's on topic, or okay. So okay, in that case, so Mariam, if that's okay with you, we'll take Fariha's comment first, and then we can come back to you. Please go ahead, Fariha.
Thank you. Yeah, it is actually a follow-up to what was shared. By the way, thank you all for sharing your comments. Beautiful. Mariam, oh, thank you so much for really your summaries. It helps a lot. And, initially when we were wondering about why the existence is plural, and I know Brother Adam also pinpointed that part. Hamim is highlighting it. So, so what came to us was because the qualities themselves is what we experience here, right? We say, oh, mercy, love, compassion, beauty, so on and so forth. So these are what we need in permanent form. So the existence is in plural refers to the qualities. That was our take on this. So just wanted to share that. Thank you. On topic.
Thank thank you for reminding me of Brother Adam's question on top. I'm sorry I overlooked that. So Brother Adam asks, can permanence have plural? And Faria has shared some of her thoughts here. I guess existence and plural referring to, you said, the qualities. I'm still trying to understand this, but I might need some time to reflect on it. But if there's anyone, maybe either Brother Adam, if you want to elaborate on your question, or maybe talk more on it, or bring any reflections, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That just caught my attention when it said permanent existences, and if it what I understood is that permanent. So existence is permanent, can't really be multiple permanences, permanent, but maybe the reflection or the way in which it's actually coming about, the way it exists, maybe different in different forms. For example, my life here, and when I leave this world, I will exist under new conditions. So it's another existence, but still within my same permanent. That's what I'm trying to make sense of. Is that how you all see it?
Interesting point. Personally, I'm formulating my thoughts right now. So let me just take a pause to see if there's Brother Ali. Please go ahead. Thank you.
I understand simply the plural existences referring to the source of creation, source of existence of anything has permanent, unlimited number of qualities, such as all-powerful, all-knowledgeable, all-wise, etc., refers to the qualities I understood of the Creator. Qualities of the Creator. Not only the Creator is not only the Creator, but also originator, but also form giver, but also knower, lover, judge, wise. We absolute will, it means chooses with no limit. Lots of qualities become apparent to human mind and human consciousness. So we become aware of permanent existences of numerous qualities of the Creator.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Brother Lee. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm still thinking about it. Are there any follow-up questions or comments? Looks like maybe our friend who originally asked the question may have been disconnected at the moment. But if there's anyone else that'd like to add anything in regards to this question, this would be the optimum time. So there's a comment by Mariam, and I know she had another off-topic question or a question that may not have. Okay, please, Mariam, if you would like to share your question and read your comment, that would be great.
So my comment in chat was my last note that I wrote was existence is permanent. The off-topic thing that I wanted to share was actually not a question. It's more of a joke.
Please go ahead.
Okay. I got reminded of the joke when Alideda was talking about atoms. So why should you never trust an atom?
like to reveal the answer to us?
Okay. Because they make up everything.
That's very cute. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. And then, so we do have still a couple more minutes. So Mariam had shared her last note. Existence is permanent. Is her last note, and which kind of brings us to the end of the second paragraph of the fourth level of the Luminous verse. For us, God suffices. Maybe if there are any questions or comments on anybody's mind, this is a good time to express yourself. And if not, actually, let me just take a pause to see if there will be any hands that go up. Please go ahead.
I would like to talk about this concluding short paragraph, which says, in short, death is not separation, it is union. It is a change of abode. It is the producing of an eternal fruit. What a beautiful news. Now, it can't be a separation. Death can't be separation because we are given the sense not to lose our existence. The one who gives this sense is the absolute being, infinite being. So after creating me and making me love my existence, because he gave me the sense to love my existence, to love my life. So I think I understand that death is not separation, but changing. Although it is very easy to understand that the life is continuously changing anyways. Whoever is changing my life, my existence, my life continuously, so he gave me existence freely. I found myself in this world perfectly arranged, organized, formed, and perfectly interacting with the whole universe as much as I can physically, ideally, even imaginary, using my imagination, I can communicate with the whole universe. It is perfectly harmonized, my existence and the universe, and I communicate with it. I need a lot of things physically. I find them there in the universe. They come into my body and work in my body perfectly. They can't be accident. So I also see that my feelings, my questions, I get the answer from the meaning in the existence of the universe. So there is a correspondence between me and the universe at every level, material level, physical level, or also intellectual level. So I cannot be a meaningless creature here. I understand that I am prepared in this world for something, because I am giving all these abilities, potentialities, in order to get to know the source of my existence. I always question, how did I come to this world? Why the universe exists so in a perfect way? How is it organized in this way? Who does it? And there must be a creator. These are within my capacity to understand, to conclude. It means I am prepared to get ready for another world, for another existence. I was brought into existence freely without my effort at all. I don't really know. I found myself existing here. So the one who gives me a free existence, why should he destroy it after making me love my existence? Of course, there is a preparation in this world. I am being trained, I am being educated to get to know my source of existence. It means I am introduced to this creator so that I will get to know. For example, somebody here, as far as I know, people study in many subjects. Somebody studies medicine. Why? Oh, because he is or she is going to practice the subject. He is going to work in a hospital or in a clinic. So he will practice it. She will practice it. Otherwise, to learn medicine, if it is not going to be practiced, would be meaningless. No one would love to do it. But I love to understand where I came from. It means I'm going to practice it. This practice is I'm going to get to know my creator and unite my existence with his presence. I have to exercise, I have to practice how my creator is really treating me without the conditions that I'm experiencing in this world. And I understand that it's a change of abode. It means one type of existence into another type of existence. I don't know. I was in my mother's womb, another type of existence. And I found myself in the world, another existence, type of existence. I was a baby, was another type of existence. So I am continuously changing the abode of my existence. Why not? After I die, it is a sign that the death is just a change of another type of existence. And it is the producing of an eternal fruit. Why? Because I am getting to know the eternal source of my existence. It means I will be uniting with the eternal source of existence. That is why, as a result of my education here, training here in this world, my life will be turned into an eternal fruit. Like a small tree, small seed goes into the soil, grows and grows and grows, becomes a tree, and then starts flourishing with leaves, flowers, and that's why at the end, the fruit comes. All these processes were to give the fruit. Now, the fruit of my education is, my training is eternally uniting with my creator. So who cares? Somebody said, we are, I know, Maryam Ryan said, from the beginning of this class, everybody is afraid of death. Not everyone, Maryam Rayan. Those people who don't believe in the creator and say that we are just accidental beings, they are afraid of death. I don't want to die because it is a trust to me. I have to protect the trust. I have been given the sense to protect my life. Whereas those people, that's what protecting life is not afraid of death. No, just doing my duty. Those people who don't believe that there is a creator, they are created. they say, just we happen to be like this. These people try to protect their life and they are afraid of death. But I and you, Mariam, Rayan, and everybody here, we protect our life. We don't want to die, but we are not afraid of death because we know that the end, I will be a seed and then give the fruit of eternal unification or uniting with my creator. So protecting the life, not wanting death, doesn't mean we are afraid of death. That is the beginning and the end of the class coming together. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a thumbs up, multiple thumbs up. Thank you. I don't really have anything that I'd like to add. And applause. I know Mariam has her hand up. Perhaps she'd be kind enough to share any other notes and comments she has with us before we close for today.
Okay, sorry about that. I do have some notes, but I actually had a question before I got to that. May I ask that really fast?
So go ahead and ask your question, and maybe we can think about it for next week since we are a little over time.
Okay, so my question was something that I put in my notes, and as I was going over them, I decided that it didn't make that much sense, and I didn't understand why I put it in there. So what I wrote was, if things inside you are not changing, you are permanent. And I couldn't understand why that was. So that was my question. And then I had some extra notes that I put in. Question. Okay, so my first added note was, questioning is the key to connecting with your creator. This universe helps you connect with your creator. This world is all set up like a class. You have to study on how to connect with your creator. When you reunite with your eternal source of existence, you are an eternal fruit. Not wanting death doesn't mean you are afraid of it. And that was my last note that I added on.
Thank you for sharing with us your beautiful notes and your question as well. So I think maybe what we can do is perhaps next class, Saturday, we can talk about this question and move on to the next level if people would like to, and there are applauses. And Fariha says, my next door neighbor has the same question as well. So it seems that this is a question that resonates with all of us. Brother Ali, I know we are closing, but I see your microphone.
I know.
Please
Can
go
you
ahead.
repeat the question? Can you repeat the question?
Mariam, would you like to repeat your question?
Sure, I'd love to. So I'll try to make it really fast. So it was in one of my notes and I couldn't understand why I wrote that in. So it was something, one of the comments. So my note was, if things inside you are not changing, you are permanent. And I couldn't understand why that was.
Brother Ali, do you have anything you want to say?
You put the question, please.
So the question is, if things inside me are not changing, how does that point to the fact that I am not permanent? That's the question, if I'm not mistaken. So this is one of Mariam's.
No, it's if things are not changing inside you, you are permanent.
Oh, I am permanent. Okay. If things inside me are not changing, I am permanent. So that's a statement that was written down in the form of a question. Faria, please go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Thank you, moderator, for allowing us a little more time. What I understood from the question that has been posed was, I think when Ali Murmur was trying to explain, or in his little discourse about how I get to know that there must be a source of existence which is absolute, i.e. permanent. So basically, because what I observe here in creation is everything is subject to change. Creation is changing. I myself am subject to change. So therefore, there must be a conscious will behind this change that is taking place. Because if, let's imagine, scenario, if I was not changing at all, which would be ideal, right? Forever 21, right? But if I was not changing, then I would not even question anything. And so I'm permanent in a way, right? So if things were just static as they are, then I don't know, what can we conclude from them? There won't be even a way for me to question the existence of anything. So I think this is what I understood from what has been shared. Hope that answers. If it makes sense, you can put a little thumbs up or yes. Otherwise, we can think more on this. But that was my take on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Fariha. Mariam, does that kind of answer your question? Yes, so we got a green thumbs up, or rather check mark. So inshallah, thank you all for being patient. And my moderator powers and extend the time. We can make the dua and end our discussion here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for moderating. This was great. And everyone, thank you for your comment. Beautiful discussion. I just wanted to end with the last sentence. What was exciting to me is that, it's our journey in this universe, the way I see it, is like a love story. So we are all lovers looking for our beloved. And once we know that we must have a beloved one, right? There must be a one, but so then that's the one that's taking care of us. That's the one that's providing all our needs, taking care in a really magnificent and compassionate way. So then death, graduation from this universe, is like a longing. It's like, it gets you excited that, yeah, I'll be in unison, or I'll be in union with my beloved, the source of my existence. So just wanted to share that. I mean, we all love stories, so let's end with that. #love. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you're all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhru da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati sir Rasul